Hello and welcome to Day One Patch Podcast, episode 575. I'm your host, Ryan Johnson. Today with me, I have Matt Lawrence.
Greetings.
You know what I forgot to do, Matt?
What's that?
I forgot to change Zoom to record separate audio tracks.
Frickin' Ryan.
Frickin' Zoom, really?
I mean, to be fair, usually people just record it for like quick reference. They're not.
Yeah. If I change it now, is it going to screw everything up?
I have no idea.
All right, well, I'll not mess with it. Tim Spence is also here.
Barely.
Barely? What do you mean barely?
Like mentally, Like physically maybe, but who's to say,
You could be in both me and Matt's imagination. And somehow we're imagining you at the exact same like time and space and what you say.
Well, I do know that your frontal lobes aren't awake right now, and so you're not being rational.
No, I never am.
Your frontal lobe is never on?
No.
Oh,
My cat ate it.
Oh,
that's disturbing.
That's kind of gross too.
Is it like when dog ate my homework? A cat ate my frontal lobe.
Matt, do
Yes,
you
sir.
have a video game fun fact for us?
I do indeed.
Hell yeah.
It is. I went down the frickin' rabbit hole here, and there was a story that made me fall down this rabbit hole that led me to another story. And then I was like, let me look up the facts about this thing. And I got so many facts that I cut out 2 sections. And hopefully it's not too
Jesus.
long as it is. It's kind of nuts. Like, I didn't realize that this was such a hot button issue, but it's Pokemon related. So maybe that's why. So this is the evolution of shiny Pokemon. Now, I do want to say something real quick is that this is a general overview of shiny Pokemon. I'm sure there's like more ways to get things easier or like little different niche ways to do things. I'm not going to be covering every single way to get things in every single possible, stance or yada yada in every single game. This is a general overview. So if I missed some niche thing, I apologize. But here we go. So today's fun fact is all about Pokemon's rarest and most recognizable collectibles, which are shiny Pokemon. A shiny Pokemon is an alternate colored version of a regular Pokemon. So, for example, the ordinarily blue Gyarados becomes red. The normally red and black Charizard becomes black. The blue Psyduck becomes a much brighter shade of blue. And some less exciting shinies, such as Gengar and Garchomp, only change their colors slightly. Despite their rarity, shiny Pokemon usually aren't stronger than normal Pokemon. Their value comes almost entirely from their appearance, scarcity, and the story behind finding them. Over the years, shiny hunting has evolved from something players encountered almost entirely by accident into an entire Pokemon subculture with specialized strategies, live streams, competitions, and some unbelievably elaborate hardware setups. That hardware setup is the thing that inspired this whole thing, which we'll get into when we get there. So where shiny Pokemon began. Shiny Pokemon officially debuted in 1999's Pokemon Gold and Silver in Japan and in 2000 in North America. The original Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow did not display Pokemon in different colors. However, Pokemon transferred from the Generation 1 games into Gold, Silver, or Crystal could potentially appear as shiny. That was possible because shininess in Generation 2 was determined by the Pokemon's hidden statistical values. If a Generation 1 Pokemon happened to possess the correct combination of values, it would become shiny when viewed into a Gen 2 game.
Makes sense.
In Gold, Silver, and Crystal, the player encounters a guaranteed shiny Gyarados at the Lake of Rage. Most players know it as the Red Gyarados. This was likely the first shiny Pokemon encountered by millions of players, and it also helped demonstrate the Game Boy Color's expanded color capabilities. The games did not initially spend much time explaining what these unusually colored Pokemon were. When a shiny entered battle, a sparkling animation and a sound effect played around it. Players began referring to them as shiny Pokemon, and the terminology was eventually adopted officially. From Generation 2 through Generation 5, the standard chance of encountering a shiny Pokemon was approximately 1 in 8,192.
Wow.
And those odds applied to most random wild encounters, eggs, and other eligible Pokemon. Importantly, a 1 in 8,192 probability does not mean that finding 8,192 Pokemon guarantees a shiny. It doesn't like chip away at the chances. It's just probability based. So every encounter is generally another independent chance. A player might
Yeah.
find one immediately.
Yep.
Another player might find it tens of thousands of times through an encounter. Shininess worked differently behind the scenes in Gen 2. It was directly connected to a Pokemon's determinate value, or DV, the predecessor to the more modern individual values, or IV. This meant that shiny Pokemon could only have certain stat combinations. It also meant that shiny breeding could be manipulated. By breeding Pokemon with the correct inherited values, Gen 2 players could potentially improve their odds to be as high as 1 in 64, massive improvement under the correct circumstances. The guaranteed red Gyarados could be used to begin this breeding process because it possessed the values required to be a shiny. Starting with Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire, shininess was separated from a Pokemon's battle stats and determined using other hidden data. So
I didn't
how
know that it was separated in Gen 3. That's interesting.
it's I had no idea this was as big as it was. I always thought it was just like a different Pokemon. Also, I didn't even think about it only being the color of the Pokemon, because in Gen 1 I was like, well, why wouldn't they have it there? But it's because they were on a Game Boy.
They were on the Game Boy, which wasn't color. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
this fun fact became a freaking rabbit hole and a half.
Well, because you're not a big Pokemon game player, really. Like, you never played the main series games. You more played the spin-offs, right?
That's right, and Pokemon Go quite a bit, which
So
I guess
you-
would be a spinoff.
Yeah.
But didn't you play X and Y or something like that?
So I played Blue, I played X and Y. I tried to play Black or White and didn't finish it. It was boring. I
Which
think
is funny
that's
because
it.
people seem to say that Black and White have the best, like one of the best stories in Pokemon. I also could not finish Black and White.
It really sucks too, because I had a 3DS at the time, picked up Black. I don't think it was Black 2. I think it was just Black. And this was in college, and I thought, hey, I'm going to actually get some more use out of my 3DS because I'd kind of fallen off of it. And just, I don't know, just nothing. It just did not stick. It just did not draw me in. I tried over and over again, like waited a while and came back, and still just nothing. Didn't pull me in.
Yeah. I played a lot of Pokemon up until like Gen 5. And then I kind of stopped really playing handhelds that much for a while. And then kind of went back and I played X and Y. And there's another one in there that I played. I can't remember. Oh, that was kind of when they started doing the remakes and stuff, though. So then there was like the Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire and stuff like that. Every generation of Pokemon that I have played, I have found a shiny in organically.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Every generation.
Wow.
Not every Pokemon game that I have played, but I have found a shiny in at least every generation that I've played.
Dang.
That's my like gamer cred achievement.
0.1% of players have this trophy.
Yeah. I found 3 in Gen 4. That's
Dang.
But yeah, no breeding or anything, just wild finds every time. And I did really like that there were shinies, and I liked how rare they were, because like if you went onto the playground like the next day and you were like, bro, I found a friggin' shiny Pokemon, like that was a huge deal. Like they were so rare
Yeah, oh hell yeah.
that like people who like knew about shiny Pokemon were like, what the heck? To be honest, a little bit, I kind of dislike that you can manipulate it and make it easier, because and that like shinies farming was like a thing, because I think that it makes it less special. Like the fact
Yeah,
that you
for
can get it
sure.
down to 1 to 64 is like,
Yeah.
I feel like it's okay for it to be a rare thing. Like I know I've talked about this like at length on my stream, honestly, with people, and everyone has different take on it, but a lot of people disagree with my take that it's good to have it be rare. But yeah, it's like, did you in your research? I mean, I'm kind of, I guess we're kind of going off of it a little bit, but in your research, did you find out things like the Masada method and stuff?
Yes, I actually have a section here, which I
Okay.
could dive into. So, like, how shiny hunting became intentional. Because I actually agree with you, Tim. Is like, I kind of feel like it was something special. It'd be like, my God, like this Gyarados is red, or this, this Pikachu is a different color, or whatever it was. And then, unfortunately, like, it just became like, oh, let's use all these methods. So, eventually, shiny hunting became intentional, as we've been talking about. And the first method I have here was the Poke Radar. So the Poke Radar debuted in Diamond and Pearl, and it allowed players to create a chain by repeatedly encountering the same Pokemon in patches of grass. As the chain became longer, the shiny odds improved. So at a chain of 40, special sparkling patches could appear and guarantee that the Pokemon inside was shiny. The catch was that choosing the wrong patch could unexpectedly break the chain and then cause you to have to, of course, redo that. Then there's the Masuda method, as you mentioned, Tim. So Generation 4 introduced an increased shiny chance when breeding two compatible Pokemon originating from games in different languages. Fans named this the Masuda method after the longtime Pokemon director and producer.
Yeah.
Approximate odds have varied between generations. So Generation 4 is about 1 in 1,638. Gen 5, it decreases again, or I guess the chances increase. So about 1 in 1,365. And in 6 onward, we have about 1 in 683, and that is without a shiny charm. So online trading made this strategy much easier because players could obtain foreign language Pokemon without owning multiple international versions of the game. Foreign and Ditto, for example, became very valuable because Ditto can breed with a very large amount of Pokemon. The shiny charm, which I just briefly mentioned, was introduced in Pokemon Black 2 and White 2 as well. It is generally awarded for completing a substantial portion of the Pokedex. When carried, it gives the game additional opportunities to generate shiny Pokemon. Its exact effectiveness differs between games and sometimes between encounter types. In many newer games, the standard odds with the shiny charm are approximately 1 in 1,365. When combined with the Masuda method, the odds of hatching a shiny in recent generations can reach approximately 1 in 512. So an even bigger improvement to that 1 in 683. There were also changes in the base odds, actually. So in Pokemon X and Y, the standard shiny odds were doubled. Base rate changed from that 1 in 8,192 to 1 in 4,096. The shinies became easier to find, but they remained uncommon enough to feel special. Generation 6 also included other hunting techniques, including chained fishing and encounters in the Friend Safari. Later games experimented with additional methods, which I'll touch on very briefly, because like I said, this is a rabbit hole and a half. The Dex Nav in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, the SOS Battle Chain in Sun and Moon, catch combos in Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, Dynamax Adventures in Sword and Shield, Mass Outbreaks in Pokemon Legends Arceus, and Mass Outbreaks and Sandwich-based Sparkling Power in Scarlet and Violet. And if you notice at this point, you have to kind of go through grass, do these encounters, and in most cases, you have to go into the actual battle, which means that players who are trying to do this thousands and thousands of times have to actually go into the encounter and watch the opening animation every time. However, seeing shinies in the overworld is possible in some games. So Pokemon Let's Go, which include the Pikachu and Eevee variants, allowed shiny Pokemon to appear visibly walking on the overworld for the first time. And then later on, Pokemon Legends Arceus made them even easier to notice, where not only were they walking around the overworld, but they also have a visible sparkle and a distinctive sound effect. This was particularly helpful when flying or moving through an area quickly, again, not having to constantly reload that same animation over and over again. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet also displayed shiny colors in the overworld, but the original releases did not include the same obvious sound notification. And this is where I just want to touch on the two stories that I found. So the first one here, this is actually the second story I found. The first one here is shiny hunting was traditionally a solitary activity, short of maybe you're trading and things like that. It has now become a major streaming and community hobby, which I guess makes sense, but I just never thought of this before. Players now will live stream hunts lasting hundreds or thousands of encounters. They'll race one another to find particular shinies, hunt several games simultaneously. They'll organize themed community events and attempt unusual challenges where a shiny can escape before being caught. A good example occurred during the 2026 Pokemon Europe International Championships. And a retro shiny challenge gathered 75 participants for 1 hour of hunting. Together, the players completed 18,508 encounters. Woo! The group found 3 shiny Pokemon, which include a Totodile, a Magikarp, and a Trubbish. Although many individuals found nothing, everyone's encounters contributed to the group total, and it demonstrates how shiny hunting has evolved into a social activity built around nostalgia, anticipation, and the excitement of finally seeing someone beat the odds. But this is not that crazy when it comes to this story. So this is actually a very recent story. I saw this week. I believe it actually broke this week as well. This is the 58 console Golduck hunt. So one of the most extreme modern shiny hunts come from the content creator Professor Rex. Rex assembled a setup of 58 Nintendo consoles, which include 25 Nintendo Wiis and 33 Nintendo GameCubes. All 58 systems are running Pokemon Sapphire and could be controlled simultaneously via a single controller. This was accomplished using the adventure mode included in Pokemon Box Ruby and Sapphire. Pokemon Box was primarily a GameCube storage utility for Game Boy Advance Pokemon. Players could connect a Game Boy Advance and store Pokemon on a GameCube memory card. Its adventure mode also allowed Ruby and Sapphire to be played through the original GameCube. Original Wii systems with GameCube compatibility could also run the software, so those are the Wiis that he's using. Professor Rex wasn't hunting a legendary Pokemon or even a especially popular starter. He was searching for an extremely specific level 25 shiny Golduck in Pokemon Sapphire Safari Zone. The level is part of the challenge. Golduck can appear at multiple levels in that area. Rex specifically wants the lowest possible level. Encountering a shiny Golduck at any other level would not satisfy this challenge/target. Rex described the desired Golduck as having the odds of approximately 1 in 9 million. The number should be presented as the hunter's claimed estimate because Games Radar, where I found the story, reported that its writers could not independently recreate the complete calculation. The level 25 Golduck reportedly occupies an especially rare encounter slot. The rarity then has to be combined with Pokemon Sapphire's 1 in 8,192 shiny odds. Available encounter tables don't provide a sufficiently clear explanation for confidently confirming the exact 1 in 9 million figure. Even with 58 games running, there is an additional problem. The hunt takes place inside the Safari Zone. Safari Zone Pokemon are not caught through ordinary battles. The player uses special Safari balls. The Pokemon can flee before being caught. A shiny Golduck could therefore finally appear after an enormous hunt and then finally escape. The hunt was part of Safari Week, a community event where players specifically hunt inside Safari Zones and similar areas. The possibility of losing the shiny is part of the event's appeal. Crazy stuff. This is the thing that made me go, what? I didn't know about all this, like these little tidbits of shiny knowledge. Let's jump down this rabbit hole. And a rabbit hole it was. And that's it. That's the fun fact for this week.
That is crazy. Yeah. Obviously you take anything that is a rare chance and people are going to jump on it to be like, okay, but how can we achieve the rarest possible permutation?
Yeah.
Funnily enough, Gen 3 was the first one that I found my first shiny, obviously not counting the red Gyarados that is in every story of Gen 2. And I was young enough that I actually didn't really know what shiny Pokemon were. And I went, it was the first of this Pokemon that I'd ever seen. And so I saw him, and then it does the little, like, swirling stars animation when he pops up. And I was like, oh, what the heck was that? Did I see that right? That was weird. And then I caught it. And then I saw, I kept going through this cave or whatever. It was a Makuhita. And I kept going through this cave, and then every other Makuhita I saw was like different color. And I was like, wait, what the heck? And then I went back and I looked and I was like, oh, I caught the very first one that I ever saw was a rare one. It was a shiny one.
Oh, shoot.
Wow. And then that's when you're like, your kid brain goes, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And I still have that same save file on that same cartridge of Pokemon Sapphire. Still have my level 100 Pink Hariyama, my first Pokemon I ever got to level 100.
Hell yeah.
Which game was that on?
Sapphire, Gen 3.
Isn't the battery going to die?
When the battery dies, that just stops the clock-based events from working, but the cartridge itself pulls power from your Game Boy, so
okay,
you don't lose your save file.
I was going to ask, too, like, what's crazy back then is you mentioned the playground, like people talking about it, so there's the community effect there. Mm-hmm. We didn't have the internet, so it wasn't like you're saying, like you didn't know what it was, but it's like I wouldn't have known what it was. Like I used to play games and then not necessarily go to school and talk about it, right? I would just like go home and like play some random game, Pokemon or otherwise, and then be like, oh, okay, like cool, right? You don't think of like necessarily bringing it up unless people around you are playing it. And so if I saw some weird thing, I'd be like, wow, there was some weird stars around that Pokemon. That's strange. And then I would forget about it and move on. Like,
yeah, it wasn't like, I guess I was familiar enough with the concept, but I didn't really know how it worked or anything. Or it might have even been one of those things where it was so uncommon that I was like, this isn't real. Like, this is just things that people are making up on the playground. And because, it's like, oh, my older brother was talking about this and blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, yeah, sure he was. But then, yeah, it was the fact that I saw all the other ones and I was like, mine's a different color. Like I think that's a thing with Pokemon that they can be like shiny, and it's literally just aesthetic, right? One thing that I'm surprised didn't come up in my research is people online being fucking pissed off that like a third of all Pokemon, when they're shiny, they're this like puke green color that's
Oh,
fucking terrible looking. It's so ugly, and so many Pokemon, for whatever reason, are cursed with the puke green shiny coloration.
I
It's so
I
weird.
I did have a section which I cut because it was huge. I had a section about notable shiny Pokemon and their oddities. So it's like a fun fact within the fun fact. And I
Oh,
did like jot stuff down, but I was like, holy crap. Like this is, I don't know. I don't
it's
remember if
getting
that
out
was
of
one of
hand.
them, but I was like, this is going to be like a 35-minute fun fact. Like this is out of
Yeah,
control.
yeah,
All right.
cool
Well, thank you,
stuff.
Matt.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you,
Let's hop
me.
into the news for the week. We got this story from IGN here. Just 7 PlayStation games have sold more than 100,000 physical copies in the US so far this year. On July 1st, Sony shocked the video game world when it confirmed plans to discontinue physical disc production for the new PlayStation games from the start of 2028. Since the announcement, gamers have called on Sony to U-turn on its decision, signing online petitions and swarming over PlayStation social media posts to express concern about video game preservation and ownership, even overshadowing the release of new games that have nothing to do with what's going on at Sony. But through it all, analysts have insisted that there is zero chance that Sony will change its mind. And while there is plenty of debate about the motivation behind Sony's decision, one analyst has laid out the stats that may underpin it. In a social media post, Matt Piscatella, senior director and video game industry and advisor at Circana, confirmed that just 7 PlayStation games have sold more than 100,000 physical units so far this year in the US. Only 2 PlayStation video games sold more than 10,000 physical units in the US during the week ending July 11th. It's a shockingly low volume of physical PlayStation game sales that hammers home the point that digital overwhelmingly dominates the market. But it's worth pointing out that this is US data only and does not include sales information from other markets such as Europe. Although you have to imagine it's probably this close or not, if not, somewhere in the ballpark. But yeah, I don't know. I think we all know this, right? We all assume this is the case. It's a lot. There's a lot of outlying issues, though. There's I heard about countries that don't have like a lot of internet access, or countries where the PlayStation's like network isn't even in,
Right.
and it's like they sell PlayStations there and they sell physical games there. They're not going to be able to access this unless Sony starts running some PlayStation networks in those countries. But yeah,
Uh,
just any general thoughts on this?
Well, I was wondering, this might be like beyond the scope of this, or like it's certainly beyond the scope of my knowledge. But so there are countries that don't have PlayStation Network, but they do have PlayStations, and then they like that aren't like smuggled. Like they sell the PlayStations there,
That
and then they
I
sell the
don't
disc
actually
there.
know, because you're right. Because how would you even do you need a PlayStation account even just to log in, or can you just
That's what I was wondering
boot up
because
a
I
PlayStation,
was thinking like if it, and not even necessarily smuggled. Maybe it's just like this country
bought
they
it
just
from
don't
somewhere
sell
else,
there.
imported
Yeah,
it or whatever?
and then you
Yeah,
just
yeah.
imported it. Yeah, it doesn't have to be illegal, but like you you go to like create an account and it's like, oh, I can't select my country. Actually, I can't do this at all or something. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what's the limitation there? And then what would that limit you to? Like, obviously, you can't get PlayStation Plus. You can't buy digital games, obviously, but I don't know. I think that it might be beyond the scope of this.
No online though. No
No
online at all.
online. No online. Oh, I suppose no internet. Right. No internet. Yeah, I
I
don't
wonder how
know.
many countries that is, and I'm surprised that a company like Sony, who is a global brand, isn't in a lot of those markets. Obviously, there's like some super small markets you're probably not going to be in, but I can't remember the names of them. But they were like just like smaller countries in Europe, I think, that didn't even have access to it.
I was just thinking too, what sucks about this is like there's a lot of games that were released on physical that probably didn't like that probably just didn't sell a lot to begin with. Like there's going to be a lot of indie games that 100,000 sales across both the physical and the digital is enough for them because it's a small team. And so like I hate how it has to become this like game of like numbers when it comes to stuff like this to an extent. I know it has to be, but I just don't like it.
Yeah. Okay, I just looked up countries where it's not available. This is kind of funny. It says notable regions like North Korea,
Right.
Russia, and Vietnam.
Can't imagine why.
Yeah. It'd be amazing if the PlayStation Network was in North Korea.
You know what though? The thing is even realistically, even remote areas, like there's going to be people in Canada that are in remote areas that are going to have such crappy internet.
Yeah, but I think the problem just always comes down to like Sony is just about the numbers in this decision. They're not really thinking about consumers in this case. And so sure, there's all these countries that don't have access to the PlayStation Network, but they're probably, an error on a spreadsheet. You know what I mean?
But these numbers are only from the United States. I mean, United States is a very connected country. It's a very like modern
Yeah.
infrastructure place, if you will.
Yeah. I've also seen people argue that this was not the holiday quarter. And obviously, you're going to have more physical sales as people buy games for gifts.
Gifts for people, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a fair point.
True.
But not to mention they could buy them the digital code too, because like I believe Sony said that they're still third-party retailers. They're still going to have the
Boxes
ability to
to
sell
but it'll
digital
be
codes. Best
piece of
Buy does
paper
it
in it.
today.
Yeah.
I went into Best Buy and bought digital codes for Nintendo games. It's a weird thing to do when it's like you can just buy from the store, but
Yeah, I was gonna say.
supposedly Best Buy would have different sales and deals, but I rarely actually see that be the case, particularly with Nintendo games.
I was
They
gonna
just don't
say
go on sale that often.
last time I bought something from Best Buy was actually an amiibo that was exclusive to Best Buy that was on sale. And
Oh
that's
my
an
God.
official Nintendo product and went on
Yeah.
sale. There you go.
Actually, it does. Is Nintendo like through and through? Most of their stuff does not go on sale all that often.
I think just games and hardware, right?
Okay, so not
Like
not
the peripherals
amiibos
and
or
merch
like
will
toys and
definitely
stuff.
go
Yeah.
on sale, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's up to the retailer too, to an extent. Like I know when I used to work at EB, like we had really old amiibos go on like clearance sales. And I don't know that that was necessarily sanctioned by Nintendo, but they just wanted to get rid of this old stock, right?
I got a list of countries that it's quite the collection of countries. It's a lot of ones you kind of expect, like Syria. Obviously, they're not going to be in Syria.
Hmm.
Interesting, they're not available in Vietnam. I don't know what that's about. Cuba, obviously, Afghanistan, but like Albania, Algeria. That's kind of interesting. The Bahamas, Bangladesh, Belize. I've been to Belize. As a tiny little baby, I don't remember a thing.
Back when you were born a baby.
I was born a baby. Dominican Republic, Equatorial Guinea, Estonia, Georgia, Grenada. Not available in Iran or Iraq. Who the fuck?
Grenada.
Yeah. Oh, my secondary monitor turned off.
I was going to say your webcam suddenly went darker.
Oh, okay. I don't know what's wrong with this monitor. Something's weird with it. But anyway, yeah. I don't think like it's been too long now. I don't think Sony is going to like turn a corner now. I don't know. I think they're just going to have to weather it, and I think they know we just have to batten down the hatches and it'll roll over at some point.
Well, I was curious about something. So, I mean, the physical games are different things to different people. Some people like to shop and stuff like in the stores, which I don't mind doing. And some people like to, which I actually started doing now that I'm buying like PSP games and stuff. But some people like to shop. Some people like to have the whole game on the disc for game preservation, things like that. Some people want to physically own the thing. What I was curious is Sony making a mistake here, not in terms of whether they're going to lose X amount of customers or something. I'm curious whether they're going to walk themselves into a regulatory issue where people are going to suddenly start taking notice and say, hey, EB Games got like starved out of all the PlayStation games. The reseller market's gone. You can't lend games to people. These guys have a monopoly on one of the biggest platforms for gaming, if not the biggest. And, like I wonder if regulators would come in and be like, oh, interesting. And then they're going to walk themselves into some sort of regulatory issue, whether that be game preservation or otherwise.
interestingly enough, the EU regulatory body just like they came out pretty quickly after this and said there was nothing they could actually do because there's no. It's like you can't really force them to sell their product in places. Do you know what I mean? Like you basically you're able to sell where you want to sell your stuff. You can't say you got to sell your games at Walmart, Sony. You know what I mean?
But they're not all Sony games. Like with the
Well, they
iPhone, for
are,
example. But well, they're not though, right? Like they're not. They're not like Elder
but they
Scrolls
go
is
through
not a Sony
Sony.
game. Sure, but then
They have to be licensed. They got their logos on the top of the cases. They're Sony games.
but that though, why would Apple not do that to all their apps to avoid the regulation of having to have multiple app stores and stuff?
I don't know.
It's quite literally the same distribution issue, is it not?
Well, no, because they're not telling Apple to sell your apps on the Epic Game Store. The
Right.
regulation is trying to make it so Epic can sell games separately outside the App Store on an iPhone. But they're not forcing Apple to sell their apps anywhere else.
But by having apps for iPhone only going through Apple's approval process, wouldn't that be the same as any other developer making a game for a PlayStation? And then because Sony's name is attached to it, isn't that the same issue? I made a PlayStation game, it goes through Sony. I made an iPhone app, it had to go through Apple. It's the same distribution issue, isn't it?
I get what you're saying, but I do think it's maybe just a matter of scale. I don't know. Or maybe it's a matter of who's the one doing it.
Like they probably can't say, "Hey, you must sell physical." I get that.
Yeah,
I understand
yeah.
that. What I was actually going to say is I wonder if people would be less upset if it was something like you could put the games somehow on a USB stick. The problem therein lies is people are going to start pirating it. They're going to figure out how to crack the disc and stuff. I understand that there's an issue there, and there's worry there. But however, people have figured out how to rip DVDs and Blu-rays, and yet DVDs and Blu-rays remain. So
I actually watched a video on a guy talking about this current state of physical media. He mostly does like movies, but in the video he showed how he rips Blu-rays, 4K Blu-rays, CDs, and he does games. He had an
They can do
Xbox
games
360
too, yeah.
game, and he ripped it onto his computer, and I was just like, "Holy cow!" I don't know what you do with it after that, but
You put it into
that's
like Xenia or something. Like that's the Xbox
uh,
360 emulator.
right. So that's an interesting thing. I kind of like what we talked about a couple weeks ago, though, Matt, where it was like if the next PlayStation 6, if it could support an external disk drive that you would buy, Sony doesn't even have to make it. Just have it in the software, I guess, able to read certain disk drives or whatever, and allow third-party disk manufacturers to make a PlayStation disc if they wanted to. Sony would still get the license fees for making a game on their platform or whatever, right? But it's like if you want it to become that kind of vinyl record, like audiophile market, you know, even if it's more expensive, if it's like if people want to pay it the premium to have a physical game, that's what it's going to take. But it would be cool if they would allow that kind of option, but I doubt it.
I don't see them backing down on this at all.
Mm-mm.
And I see it blowing over, and I see the memes dropping every single time the PlayStation Store goes down because you're gonna not be able to download your games and play certain ones and things.
Yeah.
But
It's interesting. I don't remember I remember there being an outrage when Apple got rid of the disk drive on the MacBook Air, but I don't remember there being an outrage when like PCs got rid of physical games. That happened long, long time ago, and I don't remember people being angry about it. Maybe just because it was more of a niche thing back then. Like PC gamers were even smaller than they are today back then.
niche, and also you have multiple ways to get things. We're talking about on the
Multiple
PlayStation.
storefronts.
Yeah, like on the PlayStation, you only have the PlayStation Store.
Yeah, but I think it feels like people's larger issue is the ownership thing, not being able to have a tangible product that you call your own.
Yeah, there's that. Well, there's that. That's what I guess I meant by there. Like people are fighting this for different reasons. Like some people want the shopping
That's true.
experience. Some
Yeah.
people want the physical disc. Some people are worried about game preservation. Because if Sony said, "Hey, you can load the games that you buy on a USB stick," people with for game preservation might be like, "Oh, okay."
Mhm.
They might not care. Like those people would probably drop off.
Yeah. Well, it's going to happen, particularly with these numbers, 100,000 physical games when a game,
But
the
only
best-selling
US though.
games. But do you really think it's that different elsewhere? It might be
100%.
more. It might be
100%.
more, but do you think it's that different?
Well, 100%. Like you can't just every single time especially a large company goes and enters another market, they have to do a bunch of research and figure out what to do.
Yeah.
If it was just so simple as to say, oh no, like we have internet here and they have internet there, so therefore it's the same. I think that that's not the case.
Keep in mind, though, the US is the biggest market for video games in the world.
Hmm.
You know, so all right, let's move on to our next story here. This one's a little weird. Oh wait, no, it's not. The last one's weird. This one's fine. Uh, Play more of the games you love wherever you play with Xbox backward compatibility on PC. This is directly from Xbox Wire. Today, we're introducing Xbox backward compatibility on PC, making it easier to play classic Xbox games from the past across PC and handhelds, including the ROG, Xbox Ally, and Xbox Ally X. Your library is more than just a collection of games. It is your personal history of epic stories and treasured memories from the past. I love how these. I love how they juice it up with.
The marketing speak.
Yeah, yeah. And as players, we don't want to leave our gaming legacy behind, even as technology continues to evolve and advance. We expect our library of games to move forward with us and to be able to play them in entirely new ways. Rolling out today, Xbox backward compatibility on PC launches in early release, starting with 4 classic Xbox original games now playable on PC and handhelds for the first time ever. This marks the beginning of a broader effort to preserve Xbox games from the past and bring them to PC over time. And we are not just enabling you to play them on PC. We are also adding new features to make your gaming experience better than ever. Players can jump into the following games on PC and supported handheld devices beginning today in supported regions. Blinx, the Time Sweeper.
Of all the things, talk about epic histories of like stories and memories, and it's friggin' Blinx, which coincidentally I played the shit out of as a kid.
Well, there you go. You'll be able to play the shit out of it on PC now.
It's not exactly a blockbuster hit.
It might be now.
It's really good. It's a really good time travel game. Like
Conker,
time mechanics.
Live and Reloaded. Crimson Skies, High Road to Revenge. And Fuzion Frenzy.
That one's huge. People love Fuzion Frenzy.
Each of these games is now available for purchase on PC and also included with all Xbox Game Pass plans. If you already own a digital license for these games on console, that license now carries over to your PC or handheld. To the power of Xbox Play Anywhere and Xbox Cloud Gaming, you can now play these classic games from the past on your Xbox console, cloud, PC, and handheld. Man, they mentioned handheld a lot. Jesus. In addition to making these games available on PC for the first time ever, we've added new features to enhance the experience on PC while preserving the original gameplay. Players can customize graphic settings, including up to 4 times the resolution, upscaling, VSync support, full screen and windowed display modes, and anisotropic
filtering,
enhanced anti-aliasing, and more. These games also include customizable language and audio settings. I kind of think this. What didn't Phil Spencer talk about how he was like in on the game preservation thing? Is this a holdover move from him? Maybe.
I think this is a move to ensure that their new Xbox, that's effectively a PC, is going to work with back compat, including Xbox 360, Xbox One, and Xbox Series.
But does this sound to you like it's more of a licensing thing? Because they talked about how if you own this digitally on your Xbox today, you'll own the PC version via Play Anywhere.
Sorry, so what are you asking? Like, you guys saying this is like a licensing play? Like they're
if the next Xbox is going to be more of a PC and you're actually playing PC games,
yeah,
then you wouldn't really be necessarily able to play an Xbox original game.
Correct.
But now you can, because they basically made that a PC title, and if you own it on Xbox Series X, which is not a PC in the traditional sense, they're now just allowing it to have a PC license on your account.
Yeah,
so you're not playing the Xbox original game. You're playing this new PC version of the Xbox original game, right?
Yeah,
does that make sense?
Yeah, but it's probably emulating to an extent. Like emulators allow you to upscale things and add new filters and things. So I would imagine it's emulating it, and this would be the first console to do because the original Xbox, as far as I understand it, I've never tried to do it, but as far as I understand it, the original Xbox is really difficult to emulate for some reason. I can't remember why now, but it's really difficult to emulate.
Old and clanky.
And, well, no, because like the older it is, usually the less protected it is, and the easier it is to back like reverse engineer and get it running.
Wouldn't it be more like weird in terms of how it's like set up?
Maybe, well, because the Xbox original was unique in the console space to some extent. I don't know all the architecture and stuff with the original Xbox, but I haven't recently got into like PS2 emulation. This is like kind of what I've seen through osmosis, through like kind of reading through articles and stuff. And the people that would be the people to do it would be Microsoft to figure out how to do it, because they obviously have, I would imagine, the original codes and stuff, the original architecture. The Xbox 360, that emulator is starting to pick up with Xenia. It was just ported to Android for the first time recently. It's on PC as well. It is not by any means a complete collection of games that run on it. It's still, I wouldn't say it's in its infancy. I'd say it's maybe in its teens, if you will.
Yeah.
But it's getting there. The PS3 emulator is kind of in a similar boat-ish. I don't know which one's further along or if they're about the same, but I would imagine that what they're trying to ultimately do is ensure that whatever form factor that new Xbox takes, which sounds like it's going to be Windows mostly in the background, if not completely Windows in the background, they want to ensure that their emulators are ready.
Do you think part of this too is you've been showing me how like kind of popular emulation is becoming? Are they trying to get ahead of that too by being like, okay, no, please buy Xbox original games on the actual Xbox app rather than emulating it on your PC?
Maybe. I still think emulation is still relatively niche. I hesitate to say that because I know that the Chinese handheld market is really exploded. Like it's to the tune of billions of dollars. Now, I will say this is that many of those handhelds are simply just, let's say, Android, and there's many different ones, but many of them are just simply Android that have powerful internals and can play games really well. And so they make a fantastic native Android game machine because they have built-in controls and stuff. Like I play Warframe on there, plays fantastic. I play Division Resurgence on there, plays fantastic as well. So like there's going to be certainly a subset of people that are buying those things to just play Android games and or stream games from stuff like the Xbox Game Cloud, Xbox Cloud Gaming, for sure. But when you watch YouTube content around it, largely that content is pointed toward emulation, like things like, emulating the PlayStation 2, emulating retro consoles like the GBA and NES and things like that. So it's possible. I don't know. Because the thing is that we don't see these companies going after ROM sites, and they probably could because Nintendo has.
Right.
I will say, though, like having an officially fixed version, especially if it's affordable, is my preferred option for sure.
Yeah. Well, it's in Game Pass. These 4 games are available in Game Pass, so you already have them. I opened up the Xbox app here too, and I can just install Fuzion Frenzy.
Yeah, but for example, I bought Mercenaries. Actually, Mercenaries is only available digitally on the Xbox. It is the original Xbox version through the back and pat program, and it has HD textures and things. And it's the only digitally available version, like period. It's not on PC or anything. And it was $15. And even though I have it on emulation and I have my PS2s and stuff, I immediately bought it because it's like it just feels good to, just like the old consoles, just literally download it from a store and then boot it up. Well, I guess back in the day I had a disc, but
if you want to buy Fuzion Frenzy, it's 75% off right now for its launch. It's normally $10. It's now $2.49 Canadian.
See, like I think that's a good price too. Like that's an older game, $10. Like someone who's nostalgic doesn't want to pay for Game Pass, $10 pretty good.
Do you think this in any way is going to relate to that story we talked about? The disc to digital thing that Xbox was kind of working on?
Yeah, I would think.
So I assume how it would work is like if you have an original, let's say you have Fuzion Frenzy on disc on Xbox original, you put that in a drive and then it like just authenticates it onto your account or something.
Yeah, because you can do that currently on the original or on the Xbox itself. You can put in an old 360 disc or an old Xbox original disc, and it'll just let you download the game and play it.
And then you can take the disc out and Toss it in the garbage if you wanted to.
I don't think you can. I don't quote me on that. I don't think you can. I think you have to have the disc in to like license it.
Okay. Yeah. All right. A good first step, I think, though. Pretty cool. I'm happy to see this. I wonder if Sony will follow suit, although not necessarily with PC because they're pulling back from PC. But obviously, the whole PS3 generation is like kind of lost because it's so hard to I guess get that cell architecture over to a normal console. And so we haven't actually seen a lot of PS3 games make their way to PS4 or PS5, right?
What I think that Sony is trying to do, especially with the PSP and then some PS3 and then certainly PS4, is they're just starting to port things up. Like you're just starting to see like, oh, this is now available digitally on the PlayStation Store, or like a random PSP title, like for example, like Resistance, like Resistance Retribution, which is the PSP title. But if you notice, the Vita title doesn't exist.
Well, they must have to do some analysis and see what games are worth porting over, right? Because it
Well, there's
obviously
no
costs
touchscreen.
money. Oh, yeah. There's another big game preservation issue. Just you need certain hardware to play certain games, and if you don't have it, then what do you do?
Yeah, because there is a Vita emulator. I don't know how far along it is. There is a Vita emulator for Android, and I mean, you would think, oh, that's great. It has a touchscreen. Yeah, it does, but it doesn't have a touchpad.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have a touchpad on the back. So like, now what do you do? But I think the solution. I watched this months ago. I believe the solution was you press a button to hold it, and it turns the front screen into a touchpad temporarily.
Yeah,
you like lock it in, so it's like kind of janky, but
games are kind of weird, right? Because it's like movies, it's like you can have it on tape or cassette or a disc or digital or something, and those can all kind of be modernized fairly easily. But there's like certain games, kind of like what you're talking about, like that need a touchscreen, or I was watching one video and they were talking about how like oh, maybe libraries can have like games, can be a place that can like have game preservation, but it's like if there's a PC that runs a certain type of game and only that PC can run it, it's like you can't expect the library to have every single variation of these things. You know, every
yeah.
every move game, PlayStation Move game, you need move controllers, and you know, it's just like every year those things are going to break, and you're going to have less and less of them every time. So it's a weird medium that
Man,
that relies on hardware.
imagine you walk into your local library like in 20 years and they've still got an old CRT with like Rock Band 2 set up.
Yeah.
Like hell yeah.
Well,
That's the Rock Band room.
That's another thing. I heard like even Hollywood sets are running out of CRTs because they're big and heavy, and you drop it and it breaks and they're gone.
Breaks,
They can't really easily repair them
anymore.
if the screen shatters.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, if you watch, let's say a movie set in like the 50s or something, it's like an LCD screen in there that they put like a bubble glass over top of it because they just don't have old TVs anymore.
That makes sense though. I mean, it's the same as like when we used to watch like car TV shows or movies, like they were wrecking cars, like 60s cars, like in the 80s, they were wrecking 60s cars, like because they'd go to the junkyard, there'd be 60s cars there, they'd kind of patch up the rust a little bit and be like, all right, just get it running because we're gonna smash it into a wall for this movie. And then it's like, holy crap, where'd all the the Chargers, the Challengers, and like all the Mustangs and stuff go? It's like, well, we were smashing the shit out of them in movies and TV shows. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
what was I gonna say?
that Blinx, the time sweeper is amazing.
I don't even know what this game is.
It's like a puzzle platformer, but you use time controls to like get through levels. So pausing time, rewinding, recording. So you like record movements at one point, and then you can play it back later, and it makes like a duplicate you. It's fun. Fast forwarding, rewinding. Yeah, it's cool.
It's also $10, but it's only 20% off right now. $7.99 Canadian. Actually, that's impressive. $10 Canadian?
Yeah.
Not $10 American, $10 Canadian. That's pretty good.
Or that's damn good, honestly.
That's very good.
$7, $7.50 American. Yeah. That's a fun game. It's not too long. The second one's multiplayer too, and it's way better.
Well, Xbox is trying to put out the good news, it seems like, after all the layoffs and game sales or game studio sales. Alrighty, final story for the week. This one is the one that's a bit weird. Xbox says more exclusives are coming, but tells players not to overly fixate on single player games. This is also from IGN. Xbox Chief Strategy Officer Matthew Ball and Chief Content Officer Matt Booty tried to further explain how Microsoft is handling exclusives during a conversation with Games Radar. Their clarification arrived amid the company's renewed interest in the strategy, which kicked off just last month with confirmation that two of its biggest first-party games would not come to PlayStation consoles. Quote, I can assure you, Gears of War E-Day and Clockwork Revolution are not the only titles we're planning, Ball promised. To grow a platform like ours, you have to have exclusive games and services. These are not going to be the only two titles, end quote. So what does the future of Xbox exclusive games look like? For the most diehard fans, and maybe even Microsoft itself, it's hard to say for now. In June, Booty said that the company will choose which titles get the exclusive treatment on a case-by-case basis. Today, he's being a tad more direct, promising that while large live service titles will be multi-platform going forward, players shouldn't expect all single-player titles to be exclusive to Xbox. He said, quote, I wouldn't overly fixate on single player. I think that's a good rule of thumb, but it certainly isn't something that's carved in stone. We are the stewards of over 20 game franchises that have made $1 billion in their lifetime. There are a lot of different games in our portfolio, and we have to think about how different games serve different purposes within it. He said that the Microsoft has a framework for these selections, including how we evaluate them. He noted that it's a strategy that may not be obvious to all of our players, saying that the Xbox team is committed to making this clearer. Is it clear to you guys?
Heck no.
Okay. I kind of think they should just be like, well, he kind of said it. He said single player, it's a good rule of thumb that probably most single players might be exclusive, but obviously not all of them will be. Like, do you think, like, obviously Starfield was exclusive, right? But that came to PlayStation eventually. Is that on PlayStation now?
That's on PlayStation, yeah.
It's hard to see like Bethesda games being exclusive. I don't know why. Maybe just because they were always multi-platform.
Well, they're huge. They're huge, like usually industry-defining titles.
Kind of haven't been in a while, eh, man?
Like Starfield. It defined, but it was in the wrong direction.
Oh man,
it's a downward defined.
Don't you think games deserve a sequel though? They don't. They deserve a second chance. I think there's good roots in Starfield.
Yeah, people give up on stuff too easily for sure. Like, and it's a bit of the corpo brain, right? Of like, oh, it wasn't an immediate success, so abandon it forever.
Yeah, like so many franchises were built slowly over time, and it's just like nowadays it's like everything's like it must be a success or we're just like canning it. I feel a Starfield 2 could be pretty damn fun.
Like, imagine Assassin's Creed 1 was the way that it was, and people kind of liked it, but it was no Assassin's Creed 2, it was no Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, it was no Assassin's Creed Revelations. And then imagine they're just like, maybe get rid of it though. Yeah. Then we never would have gotten Black Flag, which is like everyone's favorite.
Assassin's Creed is probably one of the best examples because that first game is so cool in concept that people still remember it. People still probably play it to some extent, but it's just still like everyone was kind of like, the story, the gameplay loop, certainly not good. The lack of like stuff to do in the world, also not great. But the idea of the story, the idea of being in that setting, the actual cities and things were cool. The parkouring was super cool. There was enough cool concepts there to like hold it together and be like, okay, let's see what they can do. I think Starfield has that. The shipbuilding went kind of nuts the first few weeks when it first came out. The shipbuilding, I think, is there. I think the like jetpack, like the actual combat isn't too bad. I think that's okay. I think the biggest problem is the unbelievable layouts. It's too procedural. It makes no sense that there's no roads between major facilities on a planet because it's like, oh no, this is a separate POI. You're telling me that this major city never had a fucking road to like this government agency that's 100 meters to the left? There's no road? Like, what do you mean there's no fucking road? We're gonna take off into space and then come fucking firing back down? Like, there's no road? Like, what are you talking about? Even a footpath? This is ridiculous. And so it just, to me, it like breaks my, like, it, in the background, I'm like, this world's fucking bullshit. Like, this is all nonsense, you know?
I think they made the world too big, and then it's all like hodgepodge together.
Yeah,
And it's like I think maybe they needed to like just have a few core central things, and then build out more of a universe inside those planets.
Yeah.
Rather than like an entire planet just being one city, which kind of sucks.
What's funny too is like you go to like the one planet that has New Atlantis on there, and it's like, this is the crown jewel of the whatever, the Federation, or whatever the hell it's called. This is the crown jewel of the Federation. And I mean, if you go like 600 meters to the right, though, there's like an abandoned cryo lab with like the worst criminals on the earth right there. And it's like, the crown fucking jewel has like a criminal den, like a really bad, an abandoned criminal den, like 600 meters. The crown jewel of like an interstellar. Like, what are you talking
What
about?
do you want? Where do you want it?
First of all, I want a road to it. Second of all,
Well, a big sign out front that says "Big bad guys in here. Get your bad guys."
but there's people doing, like, you're telling me there's no towns? It's like, no, this is the crown jewel. It's like, great, but it's not, what's that city in Star Wars? Tatooine? Coruscant.
Oh, Tatooine.
Coruscant, the all city, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not Coruscant, which you would think New Atlantis might be. It's like, oh no, most of it's nature. It's like, all right, well, nature and also some dirty fucking bandits. Like, why is no one out here dealing with those bandits? And who built a cryo lab with no fucking road and no signs? Like, it drives me crazy. It's just ridiculous. Or it's like, I'm gonna homestead. I can homestead overlooking New Atlantis. You imagine homesteading right beside Toronto? People be like, what the fuck are you doing?
Well, no, they did though.
This is the future. We can't do it now, and that's supposed to be our future. Starfield is our future. I couldn't just go to freaking Toronto.
In galactic what do you call it? No. In like galactic colonization terms, it's New Atlantis is still very new.
Then why is there high rises? This is crazy. They have fucking like 3 restaurants.
Because they can build them faster in the future.
This is the crown jewel. Like, I can't get over this. This is the crown fucking
jewel.
jewel. I can't handle it though. It's ridiculous. Show me the crown jewels. It's like,
am I crazy? That game launched with like no mini map or no maps of the cities, right?
Oh, maybe there was something like that. There was something like that.
I kind of feel like that partially killed the game. I had no idea how to get to places. I had no idea how to find a vendor to get more ammo, and I had no ammo. You know what I mean?
The signs too, like as you walk around, it's just not immediately obvious what's a shop and what's an interior and what's just like a nonsense building.
I sent like stuff home to my parents or something. I had no idea where they lived. How do I find them?
That's like one of the few things I actually did when I played that game was I went and visited my parents.
How'd you find them? I don't know where they were.
I think there was a map marker. I don't know.
Unless you had a quest leading to them, I don't know how you would find them when I first started playing.
Well, here's the thing too, is I've told Tim this a couple times. One of the traits, you can select like a mansion. You have this mansion out on a random planet. There's no way to bookmark planets. So every single time I want to go home, I have to Google it because I don't remember where my fucking house is. So there's no just like go home or like what, like in like No Man's Sky, which is a game at like an unbelievable, scale. In No Man's Sky, it's like I can go in and be like, okay, I'm going to put a portal here and then like label it, or like at the very least have like all these portals all connected so I can jump system to system without paying the fuel and driving and everything. But yeah, for some reason in Starfield, it's like there's no way to bookmark it like that. There's no portal, there's no nothing. Yeah. It's like, oh, just fast travel. But it's like, but where? I got to Google it every time.
Getting back to the story, you know what I would do if I was Microsoft to kind of clear up this? They should say every game that we own. Although I guess they can't because they promised in the regulations they were going to make games be multi-platform. But I was going to say they should have said every game we own you should assume it's going to be an exclusive, unless we say otherwise. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
That should be how it is. So people just assume, oh, I should get an Xbox if I want to play the next Fallout game. But maybe when they announce it, Fallout's going to be on PS5 or whatever. You know what I mean?
Fallout's going to be on PS5.
But you
And
need
those
people to have
remasters,
more
too.
faith in buying the console, and then they're going to be content for you.
Yeah.
But like I said, they already promised that Call of Duty is going to be on Nintendo Switch. So I don't know. I don't know how you do that. Deal with that.
Well, we were talking before the show about how they obviously had shuttered some studios, many of which were single player focused, and single player focused, or certainly single player leaning in many cases. And we were talking about how, or I think it might have been you, Ryan. I can't remember who mentioned it. They mentioned like we hope that they're not going to try to go the Sony route of let's make sure we have games as a service,
Yeah, yeah.
which is a little concerning. But also, I guess with this quote though, it's like I wouldn't overly fix it on single player. I mean, Fable's single player, and Fable is on PlayStation 5.
But that was announced before this whole shakeup, though, right? Right?
Yeah, but it is an example, I think, of something that they didn't even try to time exclusive, like Starfield.
Yeah. I don't know. I think yeah, it does make sense for like their multiplayer games to be single player or to be exclusive or sorry, not non-exclusive. I don't know. Case by case basis is kind of just the truth of it all. They're gonna have to look at every game and decide.
I guess the thing too is like what single player games would they have left? They're focusing on Halo,
They
focusing on
sold
Elder Scrolls, so
they
that's single player.
they sold off their like 4 single player studios.
Yeah, I mean they have a bunch of studios though. They certainly have. They still have Activision Blizzard, but
Those are all multiplayer games.
yeah, COD's your games as a service, classic multiplayer.
Yeah.
Diablo is your games as a service, classic multiplayer as well.
Yeah. Gears and Halo.
Yeah, World of
And even
Warcraft
Halo
is,
is a
is
multiplayer.
inherently. Yeah, Halo's kind of a games as a service multiplayer, largely.
Oh, how the mighty have fallen.
Well, Halo is that one of those weird things where it's like people really care about the single player games, or the single player portion of it.
Hmm.
But then there's also a huge like we love the online thing. It's not like Call of Duty where it's like I feel like most people don't care about the single player story. They
That's
keep making
true.
them, but Halo, it seems like people care about both. Interesting.
I wonder if also the comments come out at a good time when they just announced all those Fallout remasters, and like, do you really think they're going to hold back the Fallout 3 remaster from PlayStation people?
No,
Like, probably
no.
not. Definitely not the new Vegas one. Certainly not the new Vegas one.
See, those ones make sense though because those were games that were on PlayStation originally.
Yeah,
It makes sense to put the remaster on there as well. Like they didn't have to put Oblivion on PlayStation, but they did day and date too with the release date.
yeah. I wonder if Elder Scrolls is probably a huge argument between them.
Mm.
Elder Scrolls 6, I don't know if they've announced the platforms. I mean, I would imagine it's going to come to PS5, but what if they're looking for like something big to say, no, you have to buy an Xbox for this?
Yeah, yeah. Well, Starfield's that case. They made that exclusive, but then later they didn't say it was a timed exclusive. They just said it was like exclusive, right? And then later it came out on a lot of rumors it was going to come out on PS5, but
Yeah.
they didn't really say it at the start.
Well, the thing with that too, unfortunately, is that it was not as big of a bang as they obviously expected.
Yeah. Uh, just before we end here or move on to what we're playing, there is a poll on IGN. Now this is just whoever goes on and responds. But it says when you're buying a game, do you buy digital, physical, or switch between the two? And then they have this option here. I always buy digital, 21.3%. I mainly buy digital, but sometimes I'll pick up a physical copy, 28%. I mainly buy physical, but I'll get a digital copy on occasion, 34.6%.
Wow.
Really?
And I always buy physical versions of the game, 15.1%.
31, 30 something percent for mostly buys physical.
34.6. However, if you tally up the I always buy digital and I mainly buy digital, it's like, what is that? 50%.
But I mean, that's still 50-50.
It's close, yeah.
Approximately, obviously.
Now, these people going on IGN are obviously probably a little more hardcore
I was gonna
of a
say
crowd.
it's a bit of a biased data set. Gotta
And
think of
and
the people that click on that particular article type too, right?
not only that, I don't know how many of like people are just like logging on a different browsers or sessions or whatever, and just this is
You gotta vote for physical, bro.
7,443 votes on that.
It's a
You,
lot
you
of
know,
people.
you know what I was curious about is I wonder if physical, because the sales numbers come out a lot, and there seems to be like a passionate group that want the physical. I wonder if the crowds are different. And what I mean by that is if you're a person that just plays casually and you go, I like playing big RPGs, and you only pick up really big RPGs, you're very selective. Maybe you don't buy the sci-fi ones. And so you're like, you just bought Oblivion Remastered, you bought it on disc, and then your next game, maybe it was the Divinity re-release or something. So it's
Mhm.
months, if not years apart, where you're just like, I'm going to play Oblivion, and then you casually play Oblivion for 3 years. That's not that crazy. There's tons of people that will do that because they only casually play it. They don't give a fuck, right?
Mhm.
They're not plugged in. And so when their physical games are threatened, maybe they're kind of coming out of the woodwork and being like, what the fuck? Because they don't care about like buying digital or physical. They've been doing what they've been doing since the 360 or since the original Xbox or what have you, which is, oh, I kind of like this game. Maybe I'll go to the store and buy it.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Moving on to what we're playing. Tim,
Yo.
what have you been playing this week?
Primarily still Yotei. Not all the way through it, but mostly I think at this point. Yeah. I've been to like every area of the map at this point.
Going for that plat?
Not necessarily the plat, but I'm trying to like, do as much of the content that is like that I am shown. Um but I'm not gonna go out of my way for particular things. But aside from that, like not a ton else really, like dabbling a little bit in WoW here and there.
Oh, we played WoW.
We did play WoW a little bit. You started a new character, so we went through the starting area a little bit.
Should probably play again because I paid $18 for this month, Tim.
That's right. It's bad timing because I'm going on vacation next week.
Damn.
I'm not gonna be as available, but when I get back though, we can do it a lot. And we'll get Matt involved as well. When Matt and I were talking about doing the stream on Wednesday night, we did potentially talk. We talked about WoW. We ended up doing
Abiotic Factor,
Abiotic Factor instead.
which was
But
fucking hilarious, honestly.
absolutely ridiculous game. Like I had friends who played that, and they did talk about it like a good amount, but I never really like actually got into it and like knowing anything about it. Absolutely ridiculous game, but it is really one of those ones where it really doesn't give you much, but it's enough where you're like, okay, I gotta figure out what the hell's going on here. Like, what the fuck are we talking about? Like,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
gives
Like
you just enough to get you curious.
we're living like Ryan. It's a base building game, so you're gonna be like, oh, but it's a linear base building game. It's very, and then they give you no details, and it's just quest based. It's very
Linear.
bizarre. It's linear, yeah.
It's in a linear world, so you're in like facilities.
Hmm.
So it's not like an open world, but it is in that you could like go to any different part of the facility if you want to, and you know how to get there. But it's not like it's not like Minecraft where it's just like, okay, pick a direction and go that way and find a place you like. Like
Yeah.
you're in facilities, which means rooms and hallways and attaching things and stuff. And we're like sort of fighting aliens that are coming through portals, and we're in this like it's like a scientific facility, right? It gives me huge Half-Life vibes.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's like that sort of like, what's it called, SCP, or like it's very like science fiction-y, but like modern, alternate reality type shit, like Control and like Alan Wake and that sort of thing. Yeah, but it's what a goofy game. It's definitely one of those ones where like I feel like I can only handle it in chunks. Like it's not something I could play every day,
Yeah.
But I like play it and I'll enjoy it and I'll be like, okay, I'm kind of set for like 5 days, I think, because what the fuck was that? And I gotta give my brain a chance to reset. But then I'll go back and I'll be able to get into it again.
You and
But
I got
yeah.
attacked by that big robot, and in the middle of it, what we had to go build a repair bench, but then we couldn't find a plug to plug it into. So I like ran to the
Oh,
executive's office and like just like built it in there while you were like kiting the guy
It
around so
was
that
it was yeah, it was classic survival game of like, oh my god, there's like a thing in our base and we're not strong enough to kill it. And so like one of us is fighting it while the other one tries to like get resources and heal and repair and build stuff, and then the one dies and then they respawn, and then while they're running back the other person has to like kite the mob and try to damage it and stay alive, and then the second person goes and repairs things, and yeah, it's silly, but those are the parts of playing multiplayer games that are the best, where it's like nobody knows what's going on. You're all trying to figure it out at the same time. Everything's chaos, and then a seasoned player would look at it and go, "What the fuck are they doing? Like it's so obvious. You just do this and that." But when you don't know and you got to do your like on the fly problem solving, like that's the best. I love that stuff. Um, but
the
yeah.
plug fucking kills me. Like I keep thinking about that. Like, fuck, I finally got it built. Okay, let's do this. Fuck, it's got to be plugged in. Like,
Yeah, you gotta have power. It's not like friggin' Minecraft where you can just drop a crafting bench down anywhere. Like you gotta take your crafting bench to somewhere that you can get electricity because it needs power. And I like the way that you discover other blueprints for things too, because you get the idea for it. Like you get an inspiration for like a crafting thing that you could make, but you have to like think about it. So you go into your crafting menu, you look at a blueprint, and you're like, okay, if I wanted to make this thing, I would need a metal material, some sort of like adhesive material, a wooden material, and like a biological material. And then you have a bunch of different like things that you have found in the world that you like could put into those slots. So like, okay, I think this will be the metal one, this will be the wood one, this will be the adhesive, this will be the biological material, and then you click on the like brain symbol, so it's like you're thinking about it, and it's like "Whoop, you got two of the four right. Okay, well now I get these and get these, and it's just a funny way to like think about how you would unlock recipes in a video game, because they're all supposed to be these like scientists or researchers at this facility, so you're all sort of like intellectual people, and the like classes, so to speak, in the game are all just like different branches of science. So like this one is um like biological and like growing things and like herbalism and that sort of thing. And then this one is about more like technological, and then this one is about like construction and engineering, and then this one is about so it's really interesting. People have already gone on at length about Abiotic Factor. It's an extremely popular game.
is it really? I've seen it
Yeah,
around, but only on game stores. I've never seen like that game at all. I've never seen anything about it.
yeah, people freaking love it. Or I guess I mean, maybe it's bias again. That just the people in my circles freaking love it, and I've heard lots about it, but without any context, you don't know what anyone's talking about. So you're just like, okay, yeah, cool. Um, but yeah, there's definitely lots of potential for us there to dig more into that um, on Wednesday nights. But aside from that, I had been playing A Way Out with a friend
Oh
on
hell yeah!
streams. We finished that today. Uh, Incredible ending. Incredible.
Right, right. I'm like, fuck, Ryan, you're missing out. It's crazy.
Yeah, really, really good.
I
With
tried.
that,
It was just boring.
I feel like you needed somebody who was more fun to play it with. I think that might be the
I was
thing.
playing with Marty.
Yeah, I think you need someone else to play with it.
Oh,
Not that Marty's like not good to play with, but like you need, if you're gonna play a game like that, you need somebody who's like gonna be like into it. Because all of their games are pretty much the same formula. Like it's telling a story. They give you these big sort of like playground environments to like go through, and there's a bunch of stuff that you can do in them, but you really don't have to do any of it. Like you could speedrun these games very quickly, but the fun of it is in like getting to this new environment. It's like, okay, we're in the trailer park now. Okay, we're walking around the trailer park. There's two guys playing baseball over here. Oh, cool. I can like go up to the guy who's like batting, and then I can take the bat and I can like hit the baseballs. Oh, what the heck? The other guy can go over to the guy who's pitching, and then he can take over for the pitcher. So now it's a little bit of like player versus player. Like the pitcher is trying to, strike out the batter, and the batter's trying to hit them out of the park and stuff. So it's lots of little fun things like that. Like there's a waiting room that you're in one time, and there's just a game of Connect Four on one of the tables. So you can go over and literally just play Connect Four against each other in the game, and these goofy little things. And it's funny because it's like I like Haze Light's games, Haze Light Studios, like It Takes Two and Split Fiction and stuff like that, because they tell these like really good stories, but they're not taking it too seriously. Especially with It Takes Two, like that game is just silly from the beginning through to the end, and that it's so insane. But A Way Out's a little bit more of like a serious story, and it's almost basically like it's like an '80s action movie. Well, it takes place in 1969, but it's like the pacing of an '80s action movie, and again, it's campy, like it's serious topics, but they're handling it very very silly. And yeah, it's fun. It's very good and goofy.
I'm super glad you like the ending.
Yeah, it's awesome. We went back and we watched because there's like multiple or whatever, and so we went back and we looked at different summaries of multiple endings, and we were like, okay, we got the best one.
Should I play it or should I just watch the ending?
I was about to say,
You
like,
have to
can
play
we?
it.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, you have to play it because the ending only hits because of playing through
journey.
the whole game. Yeah,
Yeah, I'd agree. I'd agree with that.
but that was pretty much my week. Yeah.
Matt?
What? I was playing A Way Out with Tim. No. No, I was what the heck have I been doing? Oh, I got a lot of hours actually in Star Wars Lethal Alliance, and they're still teaching me
That's crazy.
stuff. It's crazy. They're still teaching me stuff. I am currently on the desert planet. I think that's Tatooine. I'm not a huge Star Wars guy. I believe that's Tatooine.
That is, yeah.
That fucking lava planet, whatever that place is called, that place is a goddamn shithole, dude.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember that sucking.
I got my ass kicked, like by lava, by damn robots. Christ. Good ending though, to that planet. There was like sort of a big sort of, I'm going to call it like a chase scene, time trial scene more so at the end, and that was pretty cool. But I did not realize, I mean, spoilers for environments, I guess. I did not realize that there was going to be like a space part, and you have to like defend your ship against TIE fighters. And that they kicked my fucking ass. Like it's from back in the day where they just don't give a fuck, where it's just like, yeah, because like you have a little robot and you can tell him to either help cool down the turret faster than it would normally cool down, or to boost the shield and repair the shield as you take damage. And I just like didn't manage that correctly. And if you just don't get the ratio correctly and you're inaccurate, it's not like a modern game where it's like, yeah, you shot down enough. Like, don't worry about it. Like, you know, you're good. No, that game's just like, oh, you're playing on normal, are you? Yeah, well, do better. It's like, oh, fuck. So, so it took me like quite a few tries actually, but I finally kind of like got better at leading my shots and taking TIE fighters out before they actually started shooting back at me and stuff, and taking enough of them out in, I'm going to call them strike groups, in their strike groups, so that any of them that did get through was only one or two, so I barely took any damage. But no, I'm having a great time playing that game. It's been a ton of fun. I don't know, just ripping the PSP lately. It's crazy. What the heck else have I been playing?
No, it's funny you mentioned the PSP though, because like I've been thinking about playing, funnily enough, a Pokemon game again because I haven't in such a long time. And I'm like, hey, it would be a great excuse to whip out the 3DS again and start playing some portable games.
Fuck yeah, man. I don't know what it is. It's something about handhelds. Like I'm going to go back to the Vita next. Like I'm just having a great time.
I think it's like the combination of scratching that like nostalgia, but also the like physical, like the tactile gaming experience.
Yeah.
Where you're like, you physically put the cartridge into the thing and then you play it on this like little screen and you're like, man, this is kind of shit. And that's the charm of it.
It's literally part of it. It's because I was talking to, I forget who I was talking to now, but they were saying, can't you just like load it on PPSSPP, which is the emulator, and then you can like, 2x the resolution and it won't have like the lines and stuff of the lower resolution screen and stuff. And I was like, yeah, but if I'm playing, let's say like Battlefront, I'll just use it as an example. If I'm playing Battlefront 2, I'm going to play the console version. I'm not going to play the PSP version unless I'm on the PSP. Like the novelty is in it being on the PSP. Now, there is some titles that are specifically for PSP that I would dabble in, Lethal Alliance being one of them. That's a PSP exclusive. But like something that has, I don't think it's a direct port. I think it's like a different game, but it's in the same universe, of course, is Force Unleashed. Like they did their own sort of like iteration of it on PSP. Same story beats largely, but different sort of games. You can kind of play both. But like I've already beat the first Force Unleashed more kind of recently, in the last like 2 or 3 years. And so I'm like, do I really want to play Force Unleashed on the PSP? Like probably not. But on an actual PSP, maybe. Like I would never, seek out the HD version of the PSP version or something like that. So there's absolutely that sort of like novelty tactile feeling.
Man, Matt,
Yeah.
I got Lethal Alliance right here.
What the heck?
Uh, on the back it says 1 to 2 players.
Was it in what way? In what?
I have no idea.
'Cause
Maybe
there's
you
like
play as the droid. I don't know.
there's like ad hoc, and then there's
Oh, it says Wi-Fi compatible ad hoc.
ad hoc. I believe is just like between the two consoles. Yeah.
I don't know what you do. Does one person play the droid? Maybe I don't know.
There have been areas where I've looked at them and been like, I don't know how to get up there. I kind of
Hmm.
wonder if those are co-op areas where like someone you could be the droid or something. That'd be
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Bring your PSP over and then we'll ad hoc it like right after the show.
Lord knows we can't connect to Wi-Fi anymore.
No, you just ad hoc it though
Yeah.
between the two.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't know what the heck else I've been playing. Didn't get a chance to do more Dying Light. I have not done any more Spider-Man 2. I've done a little bit of Apex. There's a Cyberpunk event going on there, and I had a bunch of gold currency saved up for a long time, and I don't care really about like the regular Apex skins and stuff. So I spent some of them on the loot boxes for the Cyberpunk event, and I got some pretty cool weapons. I don't know if I got any skins, which kind of sucked, but I got quite a bit of weapons, which is cool. I got a background thing, a banner for myself too, which is nice. A couple of them. Man, I think that's been it. I don't even know if I've overwatched it. I don't know. I'm a PSP man now.
As for myself, I've been playing a whole ton of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. It is the longest game I have ever played in my entire life.
And you played Odyssey. You played Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
I was a younger man then. I'm like 85, 86 hours in.
Years old? Oh.
No.
That's what I thought too.
An
And
old man.
I think it's like the same percentage. I think I'm like it's like an hour per
Oh
percent.
my God.
Aaron tells me I'm at the end, but I'm tired of it.
So are you going to do it?
I got to. I'm at the end, but it's overstayed its welcome, and I'm just like, I want to play something else, please.
Every time a game overstays its welcome, I don't know if you remember this, Ryan, but we were recording Let's Plays with Adriano years ago. We're playing Evil Within.
That was a long game.
And it's like the end, and you see this building. I think it might have been a hospital or something. And Adriano's like, "Oh my God, thank God! Like, let's get me the fuck out of here." And he walks up to it, and it's maybe 4 or 5 stories high. And then your character looks up, and it extends into like a massive apartment building. He's like, "Oh my God! Oh my God! Like, it's just get me the fuck out of here!" Like,
I bet you it's weird to figure out the timing of a game, because with a movie, obviously you can sit down and watch it and kind of feel if it's too long or too short or whatever. How do you do that with a game? You probably mostly play it in chunks, I'd imagine, as like you're developing it. I don't think at the end you sit down and play an 80-hour game before it ships, right?
you probably have to get play tested.
You
right?
just play it in chunks as you go, and maybe play testers, but that's crazy. Other than that, me and Tim did WoW. I actually really enjoyed it.
Did you?
I really enjoyed it. I like MMOs. I just have never had people to play with, and so I like just living in the whole world for a while like that.
Oh man, it's
And
so
it's
good when
very-
you like
It's
really
very
get into
basic.
it.
So far it's very basic, but I mean that's kind of what I like about it. I don't want
Slow burn.
Yeah.
Slowest of burns.
So I'm actually eager to play it again.
All right, let's do it. Boot up right now.
Yeah. All right. Overwatch obviously did a bunch of that, and that's probably it. All right.
Probably.
Tim, where do they see you stream your streams?
Not for a little while because I'm on break. But twitch.tv
Go follow at least.
sidetrack. Yeah. Do it. Follow the stream. Join the community. We play different video games. We gotta think of a couple new multiplayer games to play. Although I do have 2 semi not big things, but new things that's going to involve a bunch of different people that I'm going to be doing after we get back. So that is what is that? The week of the 20? Nope, the 3rd, August 3rd. We'll be back.
And then me and Matt, I guess we'll play something, right? If we're both around. Twitch.tv/Stay One Patch Media, Wednesdays 9 p.m. Eastern.
Man, we should totally do Division Resurgence.
we could totally do that. Yeah,
Totally can. Yeah.
Oh, that's another game we played. Yeah. Oh, okay, there you go.
Oh yes, I actually did play that quite a bit. We played that quite a bit actually.
Yeah. All right. We'll see you guys next time.
Yo, peace.
Piece of what?